Today we are going to discuss about the structure of nephron. Okay, so what is nephron? We all know nephron is a functional and structural unit of the kidney. You know, nephron is present in the kidney, understand, and it is considered as the structural and functional unit of the kidney, and each kidney contains about 1 to 1.5 millions of nephrons. How many? 1 to 1.5 millions of nephrons. Okay, so what are the general functions of the nephron? Nephrons are responsible for filtration, reabsorption, secretion, and finally excretion to form urine. So we know kidneys are very important for the formation of urine, which is excreted. Understand? So in the kidneys, the major function of formation of the urine occurs in nephron. Okay, so this, you see, this is the picture of the nephron which is present in the kidney. Okay, these are present around 1 to 1.5 million nephrons. Here we are seeing the microscopic view of the nephron, which is enlarged. Okay, like this, nephrons are present in the kidney up to 1.5 million nephrons. Okay, a very large number of nephrons are present in each kidney. Understand? Here only in this nephrons only the absorption, filtration, reabsorption, and secretion, and finally formation of urine will occur. Understand? So this nephron is considered as the structural, and this is the structure and also the function unit of the kidney. Understand? So if we talk about the parts of the nephron parts are mainly divided into two. One is glomerulus. This is the glomerulus, understand, and the other one is a long tubule. See this yellow color, this one cream color, everything is a tubule. Okay, everything is a tubule, and this red color is a glomerulus. What is it? It is a glomerulus. These are the two important parts of the nephron. Again, this long tubule is again divided into many subparts that we will discuss in the next slide. Okay, right. So coming to the microscopic structure of the nephron, the first part we can consider here is renal corpuscle. This part is called renal corpuscle. What does this renal corpuscle contains? A glomerulus and a Bowman's capsule. See, this is a Bowman's glomerulus. What is this glomerulus contains? It contains a network of capillaries. Okay, what is it? It is a network of capillaries which anastomose and also branches. Okay, and what happens here? It is a site of blood filtration. What happens here? It is a site of blood filtration. Okay, the blood that enters into the glomerulus through this efferent arteriole is filtered here. Okay, so here this glomerulus is the place where the site of the blood filtration occurs. Understand? And here also the hydrostatic pressure is about 60 mmHg, which is very larger compared to the other arterioles present in the body. Okay, then only the filtration will occur. Understand? See here, a cup-like structure surrounded by this glomerulus is called Bowman's capsule. What is it called? Bowman's capsule. What is this Bowman's capsule does? It is lined by epithelial cells. Okay, this Bowman's capsule collects the filtrate from the blood. Okay, this collects the filtrate from the blood which is filtered in the glomerulus. Okay, right? So this whole thing is called renal corpuscle. What is it? This glomerulus and also this Bowman's capsule is called as renal corpuscle. Here two functions happens. One is filtration of the blood in the glomerulus, and the filtered thing is collected by this Bowman's capsule. Okay. Next part is renal tubule. Okay. This is all is called as a renal tubule. Okay. This renal tubule is divided into many parts. Here you can see the first part is called proximal convoluted tubule. See this one. From where this Bowman's capsule, okay, starts. Okay. From here, this part, the entire part is called proximal convoluted tubule. Understand? This part is present almost in the cortex of the kidney. Is present in the cortex of the kidney. So, what is the function of this proximal convoluted tubule? Is it reabsorbs glucose and amino acids. So, here in the proximal convoluted tubule, the glucose and amino acids are reabsorbed from the filtrate which is collected by this Bowman's capsule. Okay, so many diabetic drugs also act over this proximal convoluted tubule. Okay, to prevent reabsorption of this glucose. Okay, such that hyperglycemia is reduced. Understand? Like that you can remember the function of the proximal convoluted tubule. The next one is called the loop of Henle. What is it? The next one is called the loop of Henle. See, this is called the loop of Henle. Understand? Again, it is divided into two parts. One is descending loop and another is ascending loop. So, this is a descending one and this is an ascending one. Okay. Descending one function is it water's reabsorption. Okay. And ascending loop, ion reabsorption, sodium, potassium. Okay. All are reabsorbed by this ascending loop of Henle. Okay. So, Bowman's capsule, proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, which is divided into descending loop and ascending loop. Descending loop, water reabsorption. Ascending loop, ion reabsorption occurs here. Okay. Then followed by the distal convoluted tubule. What is it? Distal convoluted tubule. Understand? See. This entire part from here to here is nothing but the distal convoluted tubule. Okay. Regulates ions and pH. Here ion and pH maintenance will occur or in the distal convoluted tubule. Understand? Now, if we speak about the collecting duct, okay, what happens here? Final water reabsorption and urine concentration occurs in the collecting tubule. This is called collecting tubule or collecting duct. Here final water, the remaining water which is present in the filtrate is absorbed or reabsorbed in the collecting tubule, and the urine concentration is concentrated here, and urine formation finally occurs in the collecting tubule. So here you have got almost all the parts of the nephron. One is glomerulus surrounded by Bowman's capsule, and Bowman's capsule continues as proximal convoluted tubule. Proximal convoluted tubule continues as a loop of Henle. Loop of Henle is a descending loop of Henle, ascending loop of Henle. From here we have got a distal convoluted tubule. From distal convoluted tubule continues as a collecting tubule. Okay, final site for the formation of urine. Understand? So here we will go to theory how this occurs. Okay, at the end of a thick ascending limb, the short segment that has in its wall a plaque of specialized epithelial cells known as macula densa. As discussed later, the macula densa plays an important role in controlling nephron function. Beyond the macula densa, fluid enters the distal tubule, which like proximal tubule lies in the renal cortex. Understand? Here you see, here this is thick ascending loop. Okay, here you can see some wall is very thick, understand, and this part here you can see, okay, called macula densa. Okay, I will explain again about the presence of the macula densa and all. Okay, and the distal tubule is followed by collecting tubule and cortical collecting tubule, which will lead to the cortical collecting duct. See this distal tubule again, understand, this distal convoluted tubule. Okay, this is all microscopic. Okay, tubule is followed by connecting tubule. Okay, this is here we can see connecting tubule. Okay, and the cortical connecting tubule, which lead to the cortical collecting duct. The initial parts of 8 to 10 cortical collecting ducts join to form a single larger collecting duct that runs downward into the medulla. Medulla is a part of the kidney and becomes the medullary collecting duct. Understand? Okay, this collecting tubule finally transforms into a medullary collecting duct. This is what here it is explained. The distal tubule is followed by connecting tubule and the cortical collecting tubule, which lead to the cortical collecting duct. Okay, the initial parts of 8 to 10. Okay, like that, the initial parts of 8 to 10 from different nephrons, okay, cortical collecting ducts join to form a single larger collecting duct that runs downward into the medulla and becomes a medullary collecting duct. Okay, like this, from 8 to 10 cortical collecting ducts combine and they form a medullary collecting duct. The collecting ducts merge to form progressively larger ducts that eventually empty into the renal pelvis through the tips of renal papillae. So what happens again? The collecting ducts merge. All these collecting ducts from different nephrons, merge to form progressively larger ducts. They all again form to form progressive ducts and eventually empty into the renal pelvis. Okay, this is a renal pelvis. Okay, this is a renal pelvis. Okay, through the tips of the renal papillae. In each kidney, there are about 250 of these very large collecting ducts, each of which contains urine. Here, these large collecting ducts will be around 250, which contains urine. Understand? That is a function, that is the structure of the nephron. Now we will discuss about the functions of the nephron. See, first function is filtration. We have known that occurs at the glomerulus. Then reabsorption, valuable substances are reabsorbed, where it reabsorbed here the proximal convoluted tubule and also loop of Henle and also collecting duct, distal convoluted tubule and also collecting duct. Secretion, waste secreted in the tubule. Excretion, urine excreted by removing the waste. Okay, these are the functions of the nephron. What is filtration, reabsorption, secretion and excretion. Okay, now by the presence of nephrons in the kidney, it's divided into about the location where they are present in the kidney. They are divided into cortical nephrons, which are present in the cortex of the kidney. Okay, short loop of Henle. Function is normal filtration. So what is the function of cortical nephrons? They are present in the cortex. Okay, what is the function? Function is normal filtration. Another type of nephrons, juxtamedullary nephrons, located near the medulla of the kidney. What is the part that is present here? Long loop of Henle. What is it? Long loop of Henle, important in urine concentration. Here what happens? Urinary concentration will happen here. So on the presence of location of nephrons in the kidney, they are divided into cortical nephrons and juxtamedullary nephrons. Cortical nephrons present in cortex, function is normal filtration. Juxtamedullary nephrons present in the medulla, important function is urinary concentration. Okay, right. So this is the end of the nephron. This what I have explained you is a microscopic structure of the nephron. Okay. So here I am just recollecting. This is a nephron. The microscopic view. This is a glomerulus, Bowman's capsule, proximal convoluted tubule. Again, loop of Henle, descending, ascending limb, and this is called distal convoluted tubule, and this will open into the collecting tubule. Understand? So this is the basic structure of the nephron. Okay, And this part what I have explained here, further this collecting tubule will divide and form finally into the medullary duct, where there are around 250 of this number which opens to the pelvis of the kidney. Okay, they contain urine. So the kidney ducts merge to form progressively larger ducts that eventually empty into the renal pelvis through the tip of renal papillae. In each kidney there are about 250 of these large collecting ducts, and each which collects urine. Okay. The initial parts of 8 to 10 cortical collecting ducts join to form a single large collecting duct that runs downward into the medulla and becomes the medullary collecting duct. Okay, these medullary collecting ducts are around 250 in number, present in the papilla of the kidney. Okay, each papilla of the kidney, they contains the urine finally. Okay, from there the urine will transfer from the ureter and it is excreted out through urinary aperture. Understand? Right. There are two kidneys from both sides. Two ureters are formed. From both the two ureters, they enter into the bladder. From the bladder, it comes out. Okay. So this is the basic structure of the nephron. Thank you.